And welcome to West Coast Jazz. This is your host, Von Norberg, and I'm here with my lovely, talented, what did you say, ambidextrous or
ambidextrous, right? Yeah, right.
Cher Dial.
Oh my goodness, hello. Hi. And I'm so happy to be here with you today. And we have a special show, don't we? Yeah, we have a guest with us. Oh my goodness, all the way from Palm Springs, right?
That's
Chase?
right. That's right. Yeah.
Chase
yeah,
Huna.
yeah.
Is that Huna or Hana?
Huna.
Is it Huna
It's
or Hana?
actually so everybody thinks it's Hawaiian, right? Huna, Huna, however you say it. And sometimes I go along with the bit. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Hawaiian. It's Hawaiian. It's actually a German name. It used to be a very long, somewhere down my ancestry line, it used to be a very, very long German name. Somewhere along that line, someone just kind of cut it in half or cut it in fourths even maybe. And Huna was just the name. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Huna is Kula.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
there you go.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to mention that you are a saxophonist and an international artist, songwriter, and you actually met Vaughn while you were playing at a club in Palm Springs. And maybe you could tell us, because he was so happy when he met you and so impressed. He was texting me going, oh my gosh, I met this fella and he is absolutely wonderful and we have to have him on the show. And he just went on and how impressed he was. And so I thought that was really cool. So we're so happy to have you on the show.
And what was the name of that club?
Yeah, the name of that club is called Vicky's of Santa Fe. It's in a town called Indian Wells, which is right kind of, suburb town of Palm Springs. I live out in La Quinta, which is right next to Indian Wells. But Vicky's itself is such a cool club. I've been playing there for a bunch of years. I started playing at the age of 10 and just played around clubs around the desert, around the Palm Springs area. At 11, 12 years old, I'd go sit in with bands. I go sit in with bands at Vicky's, and we've been playing there every Tuesday night for quite some time now. And, it's such a cool room to see music in the desert, to see music in Palm Springs. I'd say, top tier, has to be one of the best music spots that we have in the valley out here. So yeah, it's very, very cool, and got to meet Vaughn there. And yeah, what was that, back in December or January of this year? I feel like it was
something like that. And I have to pay tribute to my sister, who told me we just come down off of that gondola from up in the mountains.
Oh, you went up to the tram.
Yeah, we went the tram, and she said, before we go home, you have to come see this new artist. And she knows I played the sax and I'm into jazz. And I said, okay, I was kind of like, go ahead and drag me along. Like, what does my sister know about anything? Brother, sister type of thing. And we got there, and I was mesmerized. And then on your break between sets, you came back and sat at our table, and I got to meet your father.
Yeah.
And we got to talking and chatting. And I think you said, do you have any request that we could play for you? And at the time, my sister is the one that said Europa. And so you did that, but let's go right into that, because we got the video on it.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So we're going to show that. Do you want to say anything about that song and why you did it and what you like about it?
Europa, one of the, I always like to say, as a sax player, there's probably 3 or 4 songs, maybe 3, that you always get requests to do. This is one of them. Pink Panther's another one. Harlem Nocturne is another song that everybody's like, do you know Harlem Nocturne? Do you know Pink Panther? Do you know Europa? But it's, it's one of those classic songs. Santana did a great version of it, obviously the original by Gato Barbieri, great sax player. And just to kind of put my own spin on it, it's very, very cool. It seems like it always is a crowd moving piece. And yeah, I enjoy playing it.
I got to tell you, when I was in college and I get home from school, I would sit in my room and do Pink Panther all the time.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
It was easy, but
it was, yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah. That was one of the first songs I learned. Yeah.
Well,
I bet, right? Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Ditto. So we'll go into that. And welcome back to Jazz with Vaughn. Got that
right.
right this time.
That's right. Yes, that's.
And we just heard from Chase on one of his videos. So our guest and viewers would be able to see him perform. And he's still here with us.
Yes, yeah, he didn't run.
No, you didn't run away. So,
yeah, exactly.
And
I'm here for a couple more.
wanted to ask him some questions.
Yeah, we were going to talk about your latest album, Heart and Soul.
Yeah.
And maybe you could tell us a little bit about this. And how many albums now have you had out? And what do you think the difference is with this one between maybe some of your other albums?
Yeah. Heart and Soul is something I'm very, very proud of. This is technically it's my fourth studio album. We were talking about earlier, my first studio album, it was called On the Chase. It was produced by a guitarist out in California here. His name is Steve Oliver, kind of contemporary jazz guitar player. And that came out in 2017. And I think I wasn't even 18 years old yet when we were in the studio. We were working on that. I had my first song to radio off of that album at 15 years old. So I was just always kind of enthralled in the idea of like, oh, I can have my own song. Oh, I can have my own record and that type of thing. So after that project was done, I started diving into the technical side of it, like the studio side, recording myself, what's the right gear to use, just kind of like, and over the years growing up, obviously, your ear develops, you hear things differently. You might have different ideas of how you want to sound as a player or as a musician or as a performer even. And so I had a couple albums in between my first and my most recent. They were called Life of the Party, and they were more youthful albums, I would say. Not so much jazz, more so, I want to say pop and maybe some R&B with a little influence of jazz. So kind of getting away from jazz a little bit. But within those albums, what I'm really, really proud of with those is I can hear the development of my studio work, of my compositions, of my arrangements, bring it forward to now where I've got this fourth studio album of mine called Heart and Soul. And I'm, like I said, I'm just absolutely proud of it. I love the work that went into this. Every song was intentional. Every song had meaning. Every song had a story. Every little piece of everything was meaningful and all thought out. And I just absolutely love the process of recording this album, and the whole idea behind it all was just very, very great. So yeah.
Well, you brought up growing up and evolving to where you are now, and I'm sure you're not going to stop where you are now. We'll probably still hear you down the road. But one of the questions I had, because it relates back to myself, is when you first got interested in an instrument, what was it? How old were you? And did you play in like elementary? Did you play in high school? Did you tell us a little bit about that first entry into, well, up to where you are now?
Yeah. So I'll start. I didn't start playing saxophone until 10 years old. And before that, I always loved jazz. I love listening to jazz. Like if you're 2 years old, 3 years old, typically the parents are going to be playing Bach or Beethoven or something for the baby or children to, calm them down, help them sleep and stuff. Literally, I had a CD player, and my uncle, who played a little bit of guitar, burned a CD of like 20 different songs on there of jazz songs. And I, every single night, preferred to listen to that over whatever classical CDs that we had. And I even remember like the shape of the CD player, everything. I think it even had not an 8-track player, but a tape, not a tape player. What are those things called? Between 8-track and CD, what did we have?
Cassette.
Yeah, it had a cassette tape.
Yeah, right.
It had a cassette tape player on there as well. It was a 2-in-1, a cassette and a CD player. but I always played these jazz CDs, and that's what I wanted to listen to. Fast forward a couple years later, I'm about probably 7 years old now. And still, I'm into jazz. I'm into listening to it. I had some favorite saxophonists. Mindy Aber was one of them.
Oh yeah.
And my brother's best friend's dad played the saxophone, and he was doing a show out here. It was like a public show, free public show. I go, parents take my brother and I. And I remember that night so clearly and just watching him play. And already I love jazz, but I thought then, I thought then, like, not only does it sound cool, he looks cool doing it too. So that was kind of like the deciding point. That was the point. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm into. This is what I'm gonna do. So then fast forward a couple years later, they gave us these recorders in school, the little plastic flutes that they give the elementary school students, and everybody's got to learn hot cross buns and, play it at the end of the year. And of course, it's going to sound like elementary school students. But they gave us 3 songs on the very first day. I was so excited to get this thing and just have like something to play, like some musical instrument to play. I memorized all the songs on the very first day. No one told me to do it. I just my brain just went there basically. And it was really, really special. I really enjoyed it. I had a heart for it. And my parents saw that I was gravitated towards this thing, whether it's music or just like playing a physical instrument. So they asked me, what would you think about getting a saxophone? I said, yeah, that'd be really, really cool. So my 10th birthday rolls around the very next year, and my dad bought me my first alto saxophone for my 10th birthday. And just from there, I had some private lessons for the first couple of years just to teach you, what a reed is. I didn't know what a reed is. The first time I ever tried to play a saxophone, I'm playing it, couldn't get any sound out of it. Call up a guy. He's like, "What kind of reed are you using?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't even have a reed on this thing." That's how much I knew about nothing when it came to saxophone. You get that one, Vaughn. But I had some private lessons for the first couple years. Like I said, just teaching you the fundamentals, basic things, and then back to the story I was telling about being 11 or 12 years old. I'd go play with whoever, whenever, wherever I could. Any band that would, I text them during middle school, like during the day. Hey, can so-and-so, can I come play with you guys tonight? And I'd always have 2 or 3 spots, 4 or 5 nights a week. And technically, I was dragging my dad around to bars as a 12-year-old, not the other way. Not like, some people,
instead of them dragging you around.
Some dads are dragging their kids or whoever to bars. The kid was dragging his dad to bars, but I was very, very grateful because my dad would he would actually take the time to bring me out to these places. I would, I think we had a deal or something, like if you text, this is him telling me, if you text these guys, like if you actually get a hold of them, contact them, say, can you come, I'll bring you out. So that's why, 4 or 5 nights a week, I had 2 or 3 different spots that we would go to, just drive, play a couple songs, hang out, drive to the next spot, play a couple songs, hang out. And, that really, really helped, because playing with bands like that, or just guys that have been doing it, right? You learn so much more just from one night playing 2 songs, sitting in with a band, than an entire semester or maybe even year of band class. And that's not to bash band classes, but the priority is, they have 120 kids, whereas there's only you and the band. And, luckily there's enough gracious musicians around the area, around the Palm Springs area, that were inviting enough and, willing enough to help out a young 12-year-old kid that's going around and playing and wanting to do this. So I think that's an important part of it as well. So
I think desire and heart, interesting word on your LP.
Yeah.
I think that carries a long way. I remember I wanted to do something similar, And what I did was wind up going to high school sock hops, and I'd drag a tenor and a baritone, and I'd be
Yeah.
way in the background, and I would just be, trying to get in with the key and what they were playing, and then I would just kind of mimic them and give them, like with my baritone sax, I could give them some depth that they didn't have, and after 2 or 3 nights of doing that, the band leader would turn around and go, "Hey, come up here." He wanted me to solo, and it took off from there. So
really
very similar in that situation. Well, Cher, what do we got coming up next? We got more music.
More music, yes. We are going to play a original off your album. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about this one.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which one would you like me to play?
Yeah.
Whichever one you would like. It's up to you.
Okay. Let's start.
Up to you, and you could tell us a little story about it.
Yeah. Let's start with Encanto. This is
right.
This is a very, very special song. If you listen to the album, it's a 10-song LP. And Encanto, when you're writing an album, when you're writing songs for an album, obviously you're not only writing 10 songs, you're writing really 30, maybe 25 or 30, and then you're dumbing it down.
Right.
Encanto, even though it was a meaningful song, it had story behind it. I grew up on a street called Via Encanto my entire childhood. One of my favorite movies, funny enough, like over the past couple of years, was that Disney movie that came out called Encanto. So that was another reason I used to watch that thing all the time. Just like really, really beautiful story. But a couple different reasons why this song is special. It almost didn't make the album, because if you listen to the rest of the album, everything else sounds like it goes together. This song was the one that was just kind of on its own, not too far off on its own, but enough to make me kind of question, like, should this go on the album? It was off the list for a day, maybe a week, as I was kind of going through. Yeah, it was. And, even though it was really cool, and I was, going through, I'm like, that's kind of a bummer. Like, you're just trying to figure out exactly what's going to fit, what's going to flow right. And then I just kind of, I don't know, I make my own music. So I just kind of told myself, okay, I'll make the executive decision. This is definitely going on the album. And I'm very happy that I did it, because it's actually become a fan favorite of a bunch of people. There's some musicians that really, really dig it. And it's a song, like I said, I'm very proud of. And this is called Encanto.
Here we go. On Jazz with Vaughn.
That's right.
And welcome back to Jazz with Vaughn and
right.
Shared Isle, and our special guest,
Chase Huna.
Chase Huna.
All the way from out in California.
Yes.
California.
I'm jealous.
Yes, man. Wow.
No.
What's the weather
it's getting
out there?
hot. It's getting hot.
Yeah.
It's yesterday
We're
was
getting up to
106.
85 today, but with a lot of humidity.
Yeah.
See, I would take dry heat over humidity.
Yeah,
In
definitely.
Every
humidity,
day of the week.
Yeah.
Well, you're
If
going to
I'm
be
going-
coming up here at the
yeah.
right time.
I hope so. I
Yeah.
hope so. Yeah. We're gonna try to make that work out. And yeah,
Good.
I played up there last year. I was up playing at the Parkway Theater over in
Oh, yeah,
Chicago
nice.
Avenue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really great spot. We were I was doing a tour with Al Stewart, and we were doing the Midwest basically. I think the very next day we had to fly to Chicago, play Chicago like the next night or something, and we were just flying in from Iowa. And like I think I mentioned earlier, I've got a lot of family up in St. Paul, Twin Cities area, my dad's side of the
Yeah.
family. And it's sometimes tough to get him up to Minnesota. So I said, Dad, once I got my tour schedule, I said, Dad, I'm playing in Minneapolis and I'm not going there unless you're there. So he ended up getting on a plane. He spent the week out there. He got to hang out with his family and everybody. And yeah, it was just really, really great time. Loved playing there.
Well, you're going to hear a lot of Iowa jokes when you're up here. And
Yeah.
one of the ones, I don't know if you heard it, the best thing to come out of Iowa, 35W.
Really?
In other words, get on the road and leave. Okay.
Geez, Louise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to do a quick shout out for our website because you'll be able to see this video
Okay.
on our website, Jazz with Vaughn. And you can also go to Jazz with Vaughn and you can see all kinds of other past shows. You can ask us questions. You can, if you want to be a guest on our show like Chase, you can always set that up. And you can, ask us all kinds of things, find out all kinds of information about us and past shows.
Good deal.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, yeah. If you want to be a sponsor
Yes,
to our
sponsor.
show, we do have sponsors,
Right.
and that helps us with the setup, the equipment,
Mhm.
everything that we do to promote the show, our website. Those cost money, as you know, Chase. For
I'll sponsor-
licenses and.
I'll sponsor your vinyl collection. How about that?
Okay, we'll take it. There you go. He wants our vinyl. He don't want to
Yeah,
sponsor.
really.
I need to send you guys one. That's what I need to do. I need to
Okay.
send you one
All
for
right.
the
Nice.
collection.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
always accepted. Go ahead.
I was going to ask if you if there was a first time listener for your music on this album, what song would you have them listen to for the first time on this album? Do you think?
I really enjoy Soulshine. There's two.
Okay.
I don't tend to listen to my music too often, but this album I think is
Right.
very, very cool. Soulshine, I think, is a very, very catchy song. There's another one, the title track, Heart and Soul, that I just heard the other day again. And every time I hear that, I'm like, man, this is kind of cool. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's music
That's a classic.
that it's music that makes you feel good. I would
Right, right.
put it that way. Music that, because to me, if I'm writing a song, you always have to keep in mind, okay, keep in mind that you're going to hear this song for the rest of your life and probably perform it for the rest of your life. So you want to make everything you do the best that it can be, but how can we make it catchy? How can we make it just like feel good to a listener? And so I would suggest either of those two songs, Soulshine or the title track, Heart and Soul.
Right. How do you though when you're writing, how do you keep not just like keep your kind of modern and your style jazz, but also keep a little bit of traditional jazz into it also? Is that hard to work it in?
That's a
little bit of
wonderful question.
tradition.
I don't think I've ever gotten that before.
I have a
Blending with
partial
my
answer.
style.
I have a partial answer
Okay,
to that
okay, okay,
because
okay.
I asked you the same question when
Yeah.
I was out there, and I
Yep.
said, "Do you play any traditional jazz? Because I'm
Mhm.
more into progressive jazz." And you
Yes.
said, "Well, we do Mr. Magic," and I went,
Yeah.
"Bueno,"
Yeah.
that's Spanish for great.
Yeah.
And so I haven't heard you do any of that yet, but I am looking forward to it down the line.
Yeah, because I was wondering
yeah.
how he incorporates like older, traditional jazz into his personal
Right.
writing.
And Chris
music,
asked
yeah.
the same thing not too
Yeah.
long ago.
Yeah.
That the crossover from traditional. Well, you kind of answered it earlier when you said you were listening to all of those songs on tapes
Yeah.
and that.
Yeah.
Those were jazz
Yeah.
classics.
Yeah.
So that influenced you.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think, with jazz, it's such a broad genre, right? Because there's so
Yeah.
many sub-genres of jazz. There's acid jazz.
Thank you.
There's
Yes.
there's traditional, there's your bebop, there's everything. But
Yeah.
all that stuff, I mean, the guy behind you, shared John Coltrane, those players, Dexter Gordon, those kind of guys, that's what I started playing at 10 years old. I was going out to these clubs and playing
that's
the
wild.
standard. You're playing standards basically, right? And that's what we all that's where our roots are, is
Yes.
all that standard jazz. So when it comes to the question of you saying, how do you keep the traditional stuff with my style? I think it's just always keeping in the back of your mind, don't go too outside the box, if that makes sense. Like, keep to your roots, keep to the roots of jazz, keep to fundamental stuff, what makes sense. But then also finding your style, I think, as an artist is very, very important. And what I would probably say, this style for this album and my playing as of recent is more soul R&B influenced. But a reason I like that is because we're still diving into the roots and the fundamentals of all this jazz with our colorful chords, and just kind of adding our own personal style to it, whether it's more, obviously the production of studio work and songs is unlike, even 10 years ago or 20 years ago, let alone, how they used to record in the 1920s and 30s when Coltrane and these guys were doing records like the one behind you.
Yeah.
I think that taking all of that, it's a lot of information, but taking all of that and just kind of finding out what works for you, what grabs your ear, what makes you feel good. And when it comes to, say, my songwriting process, for example, typically I know if I'll always start with a hook. There's always it's going to be the catchy line. Okay, what's going to get your ear? What's going to get you to listen? And then after that, you have to come up with, the drums and the bass and like the core of the song. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I know personally if the song is going to work if, like I said earlier, typically I don't enjoy listening to my own music for whatever strange reason. If it's just a song that I can't get out of my head or just keep going back to and back to, I'm like, okay, we got something here. So, but I really, really like that question. Kind of keeping
I might
the
have a
traditional
hook.
stuff.
I might
Go
have a
ahead.
hook for you. We took a
Okay.
vote on what we're going to name your show,
Okay.
and we're going to name it Chase Away the Blues.
Chase
So
away the blues.
There's a hook for down the road for you.
Yeah.
You do a blues thing. So
Don't
Well,
be surprised
speaking
if I
of,
steal that as an album title someday.
it's a gift
Chasing
from
Away the
me to
Blues.
you. All right.
Well, we were talking about you had mentioned Soul Shine while we were just talking, and maybe we could play that.
Let's
Yeah,
get into it.
absolutely.
Yes, definitely. I'm anxious to hear it.
On Jazz
Yeah.
with Vaughn.
That's right.
And welcome back to Jazz with Vaughn with our lovely co-host, Cher Dial.
Thank you.
And our guest,
Chase Huna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we're having a great time with Chase. I met him out in Palm Springs with my sister, Deborah, and my wife. We were all there. And he had 2 sets that I sat through. I didn't get up and walk out.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
And you're not walking out, so we thank you.
Yeah. So it's mutual respect.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So what are we going to do next with Chase?
All right, Chase. Well, of course, that was Soul Shine, and that was beautiful, as always. Yep. It's so wonderful to hear and see you. Yes. Well, we were going to have you possibly play Mr. Magic, because I know you love Mr. Magic.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And who was the artist on that, Chris?
Grover Washington Jr.
There you go. There you go.
Grover Washington.
So,
he's got a lot of great songs. There's one that I'm wanting to do a version of on a upcoming project maybe later this year. It's called Just the Two of Us. And the singer on that track was Bill Withers. Really, really classic song.
Yeah.
You get to all that stuff. But
you got to get into that.
One thing I should mention, one of the all-time or one of my all-time favorite Grover songs is maybe one that people don't know, and it was a cover that he did, and it's called All My Tomorrows. And it's such a cool song. It's such a cool song, and I'll tell you why. Like every time, we've got a nice little cute airport out in Palm Springs. It's an open air airport, and I'm sure that you guys have probably flown through it.
In and out a lot.
Yeah. This is All My Tomorrows by Grover is one of those songs that I put on right when the plane is taking off, and then you kind of soar into the air, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. So that, maybe one day I do a cover of that, just because that's such a cool song to me. But yeah, Mr. Magic is obviously a Grover staple classic, and excited to play it for you guys.
Well, we are going to finish out this hour. Just flew by.
Yeah.
And what a great time we had with Chase. You'll have to come back for our second segment on this show because it was just so interesting.
Yeah.
And we are going to finish off with your video, Pure. And maybe you could tell us a little bit about this video.
Yeah, lead us into it.
Uh-huh.
So Pure, I think I mentioned earlier, this was off a studio album of mine. It was my very first one. This song, as well as the album, came out when I was 17. And you know, at the time, I think I was a senior in high school. So I never did sports or any kind of different activities in school. Like I was in band. I did that, you know, more for fun, and you get to hang out with friends and stuff. But I was always going out to record this album, and this song was very special. I actually remember this doesn't even matter to the story very much, but I think in developing the idea of what I wanted my style and sound and all this stuff to sound like, there was a Katy Perry song that I took to the producer at this time. I'm like, I really like the sound of this. And it wasn't like I was taking them California Girls or something. It was like a B-side song of hers, something along those lines. But I really, really like the style of it. So I remember going to the producer and saying, "Oh, can we make something like this?" That was a little more kind of electronic, and like I said, trying to figure out my style, what really worked. And we ended up doing a video for this song as well. And
nice.
yeah, really, really great times. Really, what a learning experience this was, working on the album at such a young age, and just, you know, wanting to know so much about the studio process and just creative process of not just myself, but others, the producers or songwriters I would work with. And I think that this song and this video kind of goes hand in hand with that.
Well, before we leave, I want to personally thank you for being our guest on Jazz with Vaughn. Keep in mind, audience, that Chase will be up, I think Chris said about a week, and it should be on YouTube and Facebook and in our website at jazzwithvaughn.com.
And where can fans find information about you?
Oh,
Chase?
yeah. Tell us about your website.
Yep.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to know more about me, they can visit chasehuna.com or find me on basically any social platform, Facebook, Instagram, what do we call it, X now?
Right.
Any social platform you can find me on, as well as the music, the obvious Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, or visit the website and pick up a vinyl. We've printed the new album and vinyl, and they're doing great. They're doing great. Well, I mean, what you said, Vaughn, it's really, really kind of cool that I read a stat not too long ago that said vinyl surpassed $1 billion in sales in 2025, and that was the first time that had happened since 1983, which I think is cool because when going back, when I started playing at 10 years old, and kind of thinking, oh my gosh, how cool would it be to have my own CD one day? And now people want vinyl over CD nowadays. So I'm like, oh, maybe my thinking was a little backwards back then. But it's cool, it's very cool to have something. I'm glad it's back. I'm so glad it's back because having something that you can hold in your hand, you can put on a record player, and I say this because I also have friends that are getting up a collection of their own, and they say the same things. They're like, something that is a physical good that you feel like you were part of the experience with. You went to the record shop, you browsed through the catalog of what they have, what's available. You went through the sections and you picked out maybe something new that you're not too familiar with, but you're taking a chance on something, and
Maybe when you get up here, we'll have to have Chris take you to some of his favorite vinyl stores.
Oh yeah, you have.
He knows where the jazz section is.
Yeah.
And the other part of that is the turntables are selling. Obviously, you need a turntable for a vinyl. And that market has really exploded. So there's a lot of good turntables. In fact, when you watch the start of our show, the lead-in is an arm with a needle coming down on a vinyl. It's kind of cool. So,
How cool. Yeah, I love that that's back. And really special.
Okay, well, thanks again for being on the show.
Thank you. What a pleasure. And you're such a young talent. And I just see such a wonderful future for you.
Yeah. Thank you both so much.
We'll stump you whenever we can.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you. Hey, Chris, Adam, thank you guys so very much. Production team, awesome job.
Yeah, thank you.
Cher, thank you guys so much for having me on.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.